When it comes to storm safety, you can never be too prepared.
So Gretchen Jelmson with the American Red Cross is going to tell us what to do to keep you and your loved ones safe during the storms. And it can get scary. I mean, I know that one of the storms we recently had where Ozzy and Isabella were like, because they're not from here. They're like, what's going on? Where should we be? So,
yeah, and constant lightning sometimes, and that can be scary, especially for kids and that sort of thing. And I think a lot of people hear about the American Red Cross when we respond after a storm, but part of our mission really is to prepare families as well. It's a lot easier to prepare and be ready for it than after the fact having to clean up after it. So yeah, it's just number one, trying to make sure that your family's prepared. So I have actually a little game for you guys if you're okay with that.
Yes.
It's kind of myth.
It's gonna be like Family Feud.
Buzz in, buzz in.
Myth versus fact. So the first few are going to be about tornadoes. Okay. So you should open the windows to equalize the pressure in your house.
False.
False.
Myth. Yeah.
That is false. It doesn't help at all.
It.
Yeah, good job, good job. Yeah.
Okay, you can have that
Opening
one.
windows will have no effect. And stay away from the windows and exterior walls. That's always what people are telling you, stay away from the windows. So, okay, the next one, if you're driving and you see a tornado coming, get out of the car and get in the ditch.
True.
False.
It's false.
Ah.
If you are driving, obviously the best option would be if you can drive to a sturdy shelter. If it's far enough in the distance, drive to a sturdy shelter. But if there's flying debris and it's kind of dangerous to be driving, pull over and park. Stay in the car with your seatbelt on. And if you can get down kind of underneath the window to protect your head a little bit, any kind of protection, that your car is still going to protect you from hail and any kind of flying debris that's around. So it's still better to be inside of some sort of shelter, even if it is just your car.
Oh, I would be screaming the whole time.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll stay buckled and scream and bend down.
Yep, if you have a blanket or something that you can put over your head to protect a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next one. If you are driving, once again, you're on the road, shelter under an overpass or a highway underpass.
Not a good thing to do. He's thinking.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea to me, but I'm going to say do it.
That is a myth.
Yeah, they did it in a movie and it made storm chasers mad.
So overpasses can actually intensify the winds. So especially in a tornado or if there's debris flying around, they can make that really dangerous. And obviously if it's your last resort or it's hailing or something like that, maybe a little bit of shelter is better than nothing, but that's really going to intensify the wind. So just be aware of that. Tornadoes and storms always move west to east.
Myth.
West to east. Trick question. Depends on the storm.
It is a myth. And
you get that.
A lot of times, though, the weather does move west to east, and we see that whatever's coming from Jamestown is going to hit Fargo here pretty soon. But the rule with that is just never always, especially with tornadoes. They can change direction at any time, so don't just assume that it's moving west to east.
Can we bring Lisa Green into this, please?
I'm sure she's sitting back there nodding to everything you're saying.
Right? Yep. Okay, the final one. Go to the southwest corner of your home if there's a tornado. That's the safest part of your home.
Is that the most bottom part of your home? I'm going to say false. Myth. You just want to get to the lower.
Yes, that's also a myth. And so it's the same situation. That's actually based off of a really old theory that all tornadoes come from the northeast. And so that's just, once again, knowing that the storm can turn directions at any moment. And so not any one corner of your home is 100% safe. So just make sure that you have a plan and you talk about it with your family of where that safe spot in your home is.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things is talking to your kids. Okay, if there's a big storm and something happens, here's where we meet. Or if we hear the sirens, here's where you go first.
Exactly. Just making that plan, making sure everybody's aware of it, and then staying informed. Making sure you're watching the local news, watching the storm team. If you have knowing if your emergency management for the county has something you can sign up for, notification system, that sort of thing.
Download the Valley News Live weather
app.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. We also have a Red Cross, we have lots of Red Cross apps that are free, but the one is my favorite. It's the emergency app. It monitors 35 different weather and emergency alerts.
Wow.
So you can sign up for whatever ones you want. And then, whether it's weather or a flood or there's some sort of warning, it's actually a pretty loud notification, but you know what to do, and then it also comes up with tips on, okay, storm is coming, here's what you do. And so it's free. Those are really great too.
And this is some of the stuff that you should have on hand ready to go as well.
Yeah, so this is just a few things. So we talk about preparation. So whether you're at your house and you just need to get into the basement because a tornado's coming, or maybe you're out on the road, we talk about having a preparedness kit in the wintertime, but it's really important all year round. So this is just a first aid kit. it doesn't have to be something quite this big. Even just having some Band-Aids and just some sterilizing wipes, that kind of thing, just in case somebody does get a cut or something like that. That's great to have around. Having your phone charger. Almost all of us are going to have our cell phone on us, you know, or at least nearby, and you think to grab that, but a lot of times we forget to grab a phone charger. So that's really important to have in there. And then, of course, if the power goes out, having a flashlight and having those extra batteries is super important. You strategically place your flashlights around the house, but a lot of times you turn them on and then they're dead.
I've seen Christy with like an extra power charger. Should you get like for your phone?
Yeah, like a power bank. So if the electricity goes out,
exactly.
My cell phone's older, the battery dies quickly, you need to charge it and have the power bank
Absolutely,
ready to go.
having those ones that are already battery powered up. So those extra batteries are super important. This is kind of the same. This is a weather radio, and this one has a crank on it. So you don't need to have electricity. So you just crank it up. And you can be listening to those weather alerts, making sure, you know, if you're down in the basement and you can still get updated on where the storm is. And then this one also has a flashlight on it. So that's kind of handy. And these are very inexpensive. You can
I rev up the flashlight even too?
Oh yeah, yep.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's really handy. Food and water, you know, even if it's just a little bit, if you need to run to the basement, maybe your kids need a little snack, it helps calm them a little bit. This is actually just packets of purified drinking water. Wow. They're flat, you can put them right in there, so that's really easy to have. Nice. Obviously bottled water works great too. A blanket, we've got the blanket on here. Even if it's not really cold, you know, if we're talking about summer storms, it's still just nice to have for comfort.
Right.
Especially if you have kids or pets, or if you just want to roll it up and use it as a pillow. And so that's really helpful too.
One thing our storm team always says is, don't go outside and watch the storm. Just stay in your house, stay safe and tucked away.
Yep, definitely. And just staying informed about what's happening with the storm. The last little thing that we have here, these are comfort kits that when the Red Cross responds to either a home fire or maybe a storm that's damaged a home, this just has really basic necessities in it. Tissues, it has a toothbrush and toothpaste. If you're running from a tornado, you're not going to think to grab your toothbrush. Yeah. So just having a few things that are going to make you feel a little bit cleaner and more comfortable if something does happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Gretchen.
Love my new toy. All right, stick around. We're going to wrap things up right after this.